Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video. Welcome to r/EntitledParents, where we get to see a bunch of mums and dads who think they are entitled to everything and anything. Now, I've actually got two stories by the same poster, user/wolf156. OP works at an animal shelter, which apparently is a magnet for the crazy and overly entitled. And both these stories are pretty damn good, so let's get straight into them. Enter 60-year-old entitled grandma. She comes into our shelter with this tiny little poodle that is skin and bones. Missing hair and blind and seemingly deaf. The dog looks like it died months ago and didn't know it. Well, EG brings this dog in and says it's the stray she found. We ask her the basics. Do you live in this county? Is one of the biggest questions we ask. See, what some people don't know is that every county and estate has its own county animal shelter or animal control facility. Any stray animal found must be brought to that county's shelter, usually within 48 hours of finding the animal. It's illegal to take a stray animal from one county and surrender it to an animal shelter in a different county that you don't live in. Now, that being said, EG doesn't live in this county. However, she claims to have found this dog running down the road in our county. Okay, it happens. We take the dog in and I get called to do its medical exam. I make sure the dogs and cats and whatever else we get has their proper shots and medication so they don't get sick while here, or if they are sick, so we can at least start getting them healthy. This requires a lot of wrestling with big animals that can kill me if they timed it just right, who don't want to take their pills or get a shot. So I take the little poodle into the back, and first thing I do is scan any animal coming in for a microchip. Chip comes up instantly. I research the chip, and sure enough, it's from the next county over that EG lives in, registered to that county's animal control. This is a red flag for me. This tells me it's her dog. However, I follow through and contact the next county's animal control. They pull up the chip number and give me the owner's name, address, and phone number. It's not EG. Okay, I think to myself, well, I've been wrong before. I call the owner on the chip. The owner isn't EG. But it turns out the owner is Entitled Grandmother's daughter. Hello, is this Entitled Grandmother's daughter? Yes, who is this? Yeah, it's me from County Animal Shelter. Are you missing a small elderly poodle? No, I got a poodle for my mother EG as a present back in 2016. Did it get lost? No, your mother brought it in and told us it was a stray she found. She falsified information on a government form and abandoned her animal. These are pretty serious issues. She needs to come get her dog now. I understand, and I'll call her and make sure she comes and gets her dog back. About half an hour goes by and my desk phone goes off. It's EGD's number. I think, oh, this is them calling me, they're coming back. Nope. Country Animal Shelter, this is me speaking. Entitled Grandmother's daughter sounds very frustrated. Yes, this is EGD calling back. EG isn't coming back for the dog. She says she doesn't want it anymore because she thinks it's old and ugly. She demanded I get her a teacup chihuahua instead. Well, that's between you and her, but either you or her need to come get this dog, as it's an actual crime to surrender your animal to a shelter in a county you don't live in. Let alone the animal abandonment charges and putting down false information on a government form. I understand, but I work in another county and can't make it in time to get the dog. Then your mother needs to be an adult and come get her dog. She's got till the end of the day, otherwise we'll be filing a police report. Well, she's old. She shouldn't have to deal with this kind of stress. She should have considered that before she lied to us and abandoned her animal. Have you seen this dog? It's skin and bones. You're aware that animal cruelty is a felony in this state, right? Fine, I'll come and get the damn dog. We close at posted hours. She hangs up, I go to lunch. I doubt I'll see her or the mother, but I'm true to my word. If they don't get here by the end of the date, they're gonna be dealing with the police instead of us. And OP typed this post during her lunch break, so the rest is in the form of updates. With 3 minutes left to go until we close, and no EGD or EG in sight, this will now become a police matter. I gave them plenty of time to get here. Now they can deal with felony charges. No word from Entitled Grandmother's daughter or Entitled Grandmother either. I doubt they'll show up again at this point. The poodle is doing great though. She's getting the food and medication she needs and already seems more energetic. The plus side is in shelters, the smaller dogs always tend to get adopted first, so once she's medically cleared for adoption, she will most likely get a home that day. Okay, so this should be the conclusion here. The poodle was placed with a senior dog rescue that already has a foster lined up. The pupper has been medically cleared, so they're going to be just fine. As for the entitled grandmother, the police made contact. She committed the crime in this county, therefore she's having charges placed against her in this county. As for when the court date is, or any further information in the case, I won't be included in it, as it's now between the entitled grandmother and the county. I do know that it's not going to go well for EG. And honestly, it's just sad when people treat their pets like that. Like, come on, this isn't just your phone that you can swap out when the new one comes out. This is an actual animal that you need to take care of. And here's our next post by the same person from the same animal shelter. This one may ruffle a few jimmies, but I just want to preface by saying all I'm doing is reporting on what happened. Now this happened towards the end of last December. Our shelter got in what we refer to as a unicorn. That means we got a young French bulldog puppy. To a county animal shelter, this is extremely rare, as these dogs usually come from breeders or puppy stores, and will go for up to $4,000 a pup. It's like finding a brand new Ferrari in a thrift store. Of course, the moment this dog is in our system, we have a line of people already wanting to adopt it. Now, our county shelter has a policy where we hold any stray animals for 72 hours to give any owners a chance to reclaim their lost pet before the pet becomes property of the county, and we look to rehoming them. The first day this Frenchie was in our shelter, we had 8 different families put their name on a list to adopt. Our shelter is a first-come, first-served shelter, so we would call the first name on the list, and if they didn't want the pup or couldn't take them, we would call the second, and so on, and so on. Pretty much, these people were in a line to adopt this one pupper. Now this story happened the last day of the stray hold period. Before the dog was even ours to adopt out, a same-gender couple comes into our shelter, eager to adopt a new pup for their new apartment they just moved into. EC will be the entitled couple, and me will be me. Hey there, how you all doing? Good, we're looking to adopt. Awesome, dog or cat? A dog, please. Okay, and what kind of dog are you looking for? We would like a small dog, please. Well, I'll let you know we don't have any small dogs available, but I'll take you through the kennels and we'll see if any of our dogs catch your eye. I take them through the kennels, and of course what we have the most of are pits and bully breeds that are usually not allowed in any apartment. I keep trying to ask them questions and show them dogs, but at this point, they're just ignoring me and talking to each other. Of course, as we walk through the kennel, they see the Frenchie, and that's when they lose it. Oh my god, that's the one we want! Oh, well, this little guy has a pretty long waiting list on him. I point to the sign on his kennel, saying he already has adopters lined up for him. No, we want to take him now. Well, I can put your name on the list in case the other adopters aren't able to take him or don't want him. The entitled couple scoffs, and one rolls their eyes. No, we're not going on a list. We want him now. Well, even if he didn't have adopters lined up, he's still on his stray hold period, so we can't actually adopt him. I get cut off. We want him now. I can't give him to you. He's not ours yet. Cut off again. I don't care. Give him to us now. No. At this point, I figure they're not gonna let me explain anything, so I just flat out say no. They both go quiet, look at each other. One smugly smiles and says, "He'll be leaving with us by the end of the day." At that point, they walk out and leave the shelter. I walk back into the front office and tell the office staff what happened as they heard the yelling even over the dogs barking. We all kinda shrug it off as empty threats from crazy entitled people. Stuff we're used to by now. An hour later, we get a call from the county's Human Resources Office. EC actually called them and threw a fit. Told them we're refusing to adopt them based on their sexuality, and that if they don't get the dog, they're suing for discrimination and contacting the news. The higher-ups lose their minds and immediately give in to their demands. They tell us to give them the dog and not even charge an adoption fee. Shortly after that, in walks the entitled couple with smug grins. We'll be taking our baby. As the office staff hand over the French Bulldog, they turn to me. Told you. They walk out with the dog in their arms. Now here's where the karma kicks in. French Bulldogs, while cute, have extreme separation anxiety, among some other not so favourable habits. They are great dogs if you take care of them. The entitled couple did not take care of the dog. Super Bowl weekend, and we're hosting a big adoption party for the shelter dogs. Basically a come in and adopt them please, for the love of God, we have no kennel space party. In walks the entitled couple, mad and ranting and raving about how we adopted a monster out to them. Basically, both of them work, so the dog is left alone most of the day and made the most of his time destroying their apartment. They showed us pictures of poop smeared into carpet that the landlord is now demanding that they pay to replace. Furniture ripped to pieces, urine stains in an expensive mattress they had to throw out. They demanded we take the dog back and reimburse them for the damage to their property. We take the dog back and tell them they're not getting reimbursed for anything. They scoff again and threaten to sue us, until our front desk lady pulls out the adoption paperwork they signed at the time of the original adoption. That said, they're 100% responsible for the dog, and the shelter is no longer responsible for the animal at the time of adoption. So even if they took us to court, they would have a bad time. They started losing it and say they'll call human resources again. I told them that won't do them any good as they signed a legal contract. But they're welcome to try. They give me the smug smile again, call HR, and proceed to scream at the phone when they don't get their way. HR told them the same thing we did. They signed a contract, they took ownership of the dog. They're not getting anything, and the county has a lawyer on hand should they want to take this to court. At this point, they're completely defeated. I smile as they turn to walk out and say, told you. 2 days later, the pupper got adopted to an old lady who has 2 other Frenchies and spends all day of her retirement spoiling them. And as I said just a few minutes ago, if you get a dog, you have to take care of them. You gotta feed them, train them, walk them, and love them, otherwise you'll end up with some trouble on your hands. And here's our next post by user/painsomnia. This took place when I dragged my chronically ill butt over to my local pharmacy for some prescriptions a couple of days ago. The place was quite busy and it quickly became obvious what was causing the holdup. This woman, the archetypal Karen in every way, was at the counter arguing with the pharmacist. She was trying to return an opened bottle of cough syrup because her son didn't like the taste. Yep. And she dragged her poor kid into the store with her, despite him being very unwell. Poor boy looked like death warmed up and just stood there, silently exhausted the whole time. From when I arrived, the exchange went something like this. My son shouldn't have to drink something he doesn't like. Why even sell kids medication that kids won't like? I'm sorry, but taste really isn't the top priority with medication, and different kids will like different flavors anyway. Well, regardless, you're going to give my bloody money back. I'm not forcing this trash onto my son. We cannot and will not accept returns of used medication. Her directness seemed to shock Kay, who scoffed in that offended, entitled way I'm sure we're all familiar with. Well, I'm not wasting my money on a different one unless I know for sure he'll like it. What have you got? Well, does your son like, and lists a few flavors. Karen scoffs again and rolls her eyes. How the hell should I know? He needs to taste them, doesn't he? Said as though that was the most obvious thing in the world. The pharmacist, pausing in disbelief. Excuse me? Do not make me repeat myself. You're already giving me a headache. There is no taste testing for medications. They're medications, not ice cream. You have a perfectly good bottle of cough syrup already. I suggest you make do with that. Karen did the how dare you, and I don't know why you're being so rude routine. But the pharmacist handled her BS like the pro she clearly is. I'm going to have to ask you to leave. Alternatively, I can have security escort you out. And Karen left, swearing up a storm, threatening to have the pharmacist fired, and dragging her poor sick kid behind her. Who the hell thinks they can or should be allowed to sample medications for flavor? And now I'm just imagining like a medication tasting station. I just imagine walking into a pharmacy and there's this little table with like different kinds of medications and you can like dip a stick into it and lick it and see which ones you like. Not gonna lie, that would be kind of awesome, but some people just really, I just don't understand them. Alright everyone, I hope you enjoyed this little video, and if you did, make sure to subscribe to the channel for Reddit videos every second day. But with that said, that is it from me. I hope you all enjoyed, and all I want to do is see you all here next time. See you later, guys.